So, grandmas and grandfathers of the East, we're here today to talk with clarity about the impact that ownership of land has had through the medium of money. And we're really working very hard to have different relations in our lives with all of our relations here, all the trees and all the animals, all the winged ones, all the creepy crawlers, even these little pesky flies that are around us are having their time in creation. So we send our thoughts out that we all live together in peace and harmony, and that we find ways to be in equity with each other. Grandmas and grandfathers of the South, we send our thoughts out in appreciation for the courage that it would take to truly speak from the heart when we see things that aren't well, and to nourish all the things that are supporting our growth and our spiritual development. That we all are here with a purpose, that we came, and the land totally sustains us, and the beauty of this space and the aliveness of this land is something that we all appreciate, because it has been so graciously tended, and so many people have been able to realize their inner self here and to work in concert with all the things that are here. So we send our thoughts out that all of these spaces be well cared for, and that they not be in any way impacted by a sense of ownership, but a sense of stewardship, and that we neutralize any of the impacts of this thing called money that takes us away from our relationships, that we realize the true abundance of being here with human community and community with all of the plants and elementals. So we send our thoughts out for, as you can see, the loving attention. Grandmas and grandfathers of the West, we send our thoughts out in appreciation for the waters of the world, for the beautiful streams that traverse this property and nourish the fairies and all the spirits. And we send our thoughts out that we have the time to be on the land, that we have a relation with the land. The trauma of women is the same as the trauma of the land. And the nourishment of this place is the same nourishment that women carry, all the womb bearers carry. And we send our thoughts out that all the womb bearers have what they need to bring forward life in a good way, and that the adults and the elders teach the children how to be on this land in a different way, how to see the equity of the environment that surrounds them, with all of the trees that actually underground are all supporting each other's growth here. So we send our thoughts out that we live with the wisdom of the trees, that we live with the wisdom of the minerals and all of the stones that have stories to tell. And we send our thoughts out, especially that we pray and listen to the voice and language of the water. Grandmas and grandfathers of the North, we send our attention and our thoughts and our prayers to the very Mother Earth herself. And she does not recognize the kind of boundaries that ownership carve out. All of her ley lines and all of her veins and all of these things are imperiled with drilling and these things. So may this land that we stand on always be as it is, as it always was, as it always will be, to the 7 generations, so that all the children that come here will feel the magic of nature, because nature speaks in mysterious ways. It can grow things in an instant. It can do anything that it was, because Creator speaks through all of these things. And we're here to enjoy creation. That is what we came here to do. And that every time that we walk this land, every time we have a conversation with each other, we are changed by that interaction. So may these interactions be beautiful, may they be inspiring, may they really have a relationship in the true spirit of the I and Thou, and total equity, that this land is the same equity as us as human beings walking on it, and in some cases so much more wisdom because they've been here so much longer. So we send our thoughts out that this space and our relation to it be a sacred bond that unites us. Aho.
Aho. We don't own this earth. No one owns the earth. And the earth and all of nature is here for us to share and to take care of.
If you were up in the heavens and you looked down, you would see these concentric circles that go out and out and out. And they become uncovered. Like when I left after 2.5 years of being there, I could see the other outer circles going. And then I realized that they were all like kind of connected to like maybe the other things in New Hampshire, other stones. Are all of this is connected like a beautiful web.
One of the things that I do, that I love to do, is I bring groups of women here and we actually lie in that medicine wheel with our heads towards the center, and we're like, you know, just all in a circle. And I drum that they lay on their bellies, and I drum them down into the earth to make connection with the earth, and then the spirit of the earth comes up and guides them to a power spot.
Nice.
It's very incredible. It's one of my favorite things. And I love that you can look here out over the medicine wheel from here. So sometimes there are people who are positioned, people just praying and meditating wherever they're guided, and you just feel them being in these different places, all within this circumference.
Yeah.
And that's very powerful as well. So these stones over here are grandfather stones. All of these stones were underground, and only just a tip of them was exposed.
They have a very old feel to them. And some of them look very primordial, like they were here a long time. And some of them have a lizard quality to them. But it's like they have so much to say. And I have stones too like that, where you only see a little bit on the top and then they begin to uncover because it's time to be seen. So they had to have a fire to have that happen.
Right.
When something like this occurs, right? It wants energy from you to do so, and it needs to shift a little bit. The same thing even with my medicine collar. I used to think it was a terrible thing if something happened, but I realized I had to accommodate my growth, and this is wanting a realignment. There was no money. The way we relate to each other would be based on the love and care and wisdom that we had, and the trust that we built with each other. And if I need something, I have something I do, and I can share that with someone, and they can give me something that I need. So we would be looking at where our gifts are, and we would be sharing what we know. We wouldn't be hoarding anything. We would be making things, and that would be our currency. That would be how we got what we needed. Somebody who had a real knack for growing food, or everyone would be participating in that. Everyone would be sharing it equally. And then we would have an understanding about equity and compassion comes from everything being equal to you. Compassion for the trees, compassion for the water, compassion for every single person, no matter how old they are, what race they are, what their beliefs are. So what we could do is put something of value on at a town marketplace. I have this, And would anyone like to trade with me? This is a perfectly good thing, and people would come up and they would have to talk to you. Like, well, I have this, I can give you that. And you have to decide if it's enough. And then you say, no, I'm looking for something a little different, or I need a little more than that to make this, because this is how long this took me. And people would be able to come in, well, I can give you this, and you get to choose which thing resonates with you, and you make the exchange. And then everybody would take a turn putting something in. Native peoples do this all the time after everybody else goes home. So I don't want to just wait till everybody goes home. I want to reel people in and say, hey, I got this refrigerator I don't need. Do you have something to change? Maybe somebody has something else, that we can exchange. And then if everyone got into that, like people do it a little, like when they put toys that children don't use anymore, they just kind of put it on the street and they say free. Well, why not extend that? It could be done. All you have to do is decide that you want to minimize the amount of money that you want to use from the government, because that money is designed to keep you poor. Money is the absolute first violence, because it was violence against all the plants. All of a sudden they were objectified. All of a sudden they had a value, a cash value. All of a sudden they were just taken down for no good reason, without even asking them, without having a conversation. To put a road somewhere that maybe doesn't need to be there, they would just take the trees down. 4 inches down in the earth here, there are ancestors. You can't walk anywhere here there's not an ancestor 4 inches down. And those ancestors know who they want on their land. That's why you're here. So they own you. This land owns you.
It does.
Not the other way around.
It does.
That's a big shift in understanding.
People don't understand that.
I was living in Rhode Island, and I got a letter in the mail, and it said all about this land, right? I thought it was New Age craziness, but I said, well, what the heck, I'll go look at it. And that land grabbed me by the leg, and it told me I was going to live there rent-free. And it still owns me. If it wasn't for money, we would have time to explore. We would have time to be listened to, and we wouldn't have to worry about food. If we have food and shelter, we don't have to be an indentured servant, having to give away our time to somebody who will pay us for it. Because to me, that's indentured servitude. And then the way the school system is set up, it's designed to keep people poor. And that they won't ever make, that initial money that was taken is still in the hands of those same people who first took it in their families. So we could have to decide that we're not doing that with them. What if we don't play that game? What if we don't acknowledge the physical money that they create? Money even keeps good inventions from happening. Like, we could probably all be doing solar stuff now if it wasn't for people trying to keep us buying oil.
I think bringing people to the land is one of the first steps. I think that making a place available where people can come and they can hang out with the water, they can hang out with the mountains, the trees, the rocks, and they can start to return to a more natural way of being on the earth.
So the land would be critical, but beyond that, you need to have an understanding. You have to have, a teaching that before the colonists came here, how to live without money. You'd have to have a whole way of looking at it. You'd have to, really see how it needed to be created, create the scarcity. You'd have to have an understanding that money is the most powerful oppressor there is. The actual money itself is the oppressive currency. Because if you take land and then you make it so no one can have any land, you have to have a currency to buy it. So that's why they invented money. Then when they invented the money, they decided no person of color could own land. and they took way more than they could use, and they own the trees now, and they own it. No woman could own it, no man of color could own it. So they controlled it, but they could only control it with something, money, and then take you away from the land. The two things are connected. So if you don't have money, even today, if we all decided that we weren't doing money, and we were all going to start sharing with each other and creating our own ways of living here, that would fall apart. We all have to agree. We all have to hunger after that money to keep it going. And they control who gets it. People of color don't have the same kind of money. Some people don't even have a house to live in because they don't have any money. Take the money away. They have a home. To me, it's like clear as a bell. Like, I really get this thing with this physical thing, this money piece, because the people who took the land controlled it, and they made it. They invented it as a way to control us. And yes, it's a source of oppression.
Right.
You know, it's some people already live in kind of some intentional community where they just do their own thing. You'd have to build a windmill or something or go to bed at night when the sun goes down. Like, that's what they used to do. People lived without electricity. You didn't need, if you don't need electricity, you don't need money to buy it. To me, get rid of everything that you need money for. Start living on the land. That's how it was, and it could be again. That's how I feel. Because people want to be happy. It's what's missing.